Welcome to the virtual award ceremony for the 2021 NPC Juried Student Art Show. This is an art exhibition that we hold every spring at the end of the semester to celebrate all of the artwork that has been made by NPC students throughout the past fall and spring semesters. Most of this artwork is produced by art students who are taking art classes at NPC, but some of it is produced by students who are making artwork on their own. Either way, we appreciate all of it, and we especially appreciate you taking the time to make artwork during this year when many of you are learning in distance classes, and also to take that time to share it with us. It's truly been a pleasure to see your work. We're going to spend a little bit of time with you today talking about our top award winners and some of the highlights of that artwork that we've been looking at. When the art faculty gets together and juries the show, we really consider things like craftsmanship, how well the student has used the materials to produce the artwork, composition, how they've arranged the artwork with the elements and principles of design to create a focal point, to get an emotional response from us as the viewer, and also creativity and originality. So we'll touch on a little bit of that in our decision making for all of the top award winners. First, I'd like to take a moment and let us introduce ourselves to you if you don't know us already. My name is Magda Gushak. I'm the gallery director for the Talon Gallery at the White Mountain campus in Show Low. I'm also art faculty, and I typically teach from White Mountain campus in Show Low as well. You'll find me teaching ceramics, drawing, photography, as well as art history and understanding art.
Hello, my name is Peter Sanyazi. I'm from Greasewood Springs, Arizona. I'm also an art faculty at NPC. I've been here a few years. Some of the classes I teach are drawing, painting, understanding art, Native American art, and basic design. So I want to say thank you to all the students that were able to enter work this year into the annual NPC Student Art Show. It was a treat to help with that and be a juror. So thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Nathan Kossab. I'm faculty in film and digital video here at NPC. This past year, I taught classes in film history, film theory, and film style, in addition to a couple of humanities courses. In non-pandemic years, I also teach film production. Nice to meet y'all. First place award for painting goes to Elizabeth Elgin for Octopus Close-Up. An extraordinary use of watercolor and watercolor pens to achieve a very tactile softness and physicality within the painting. The color is lifelike and invokes a sense of movement in its stillness. And while this clearly could be used as a biological portrait of something from the ocean, it also works as an engaging abstraction of circles and lines. I've spent a lot of time looking at it, and each time I look at it, I find something new and wonderful to discover within the composition. It's extraordinary.
The second place in painting goes to Anne Anspach for her watercolor painting titled Black Magic. This painting has a nice full composition. There's also a nice interplay between abstract geometrical motifs along with a representational imagery. So big congratulations to Anne for her phenomenal painting. Thank you for submitting.
Our third place award in painting goes to Devin Begay for the painting Alone in a Cave with acrylic paints. What we were drawn to in this particular painting was the way that Devin created a strong contrast in lights and darks, particularly how the focal point of what I assume to be an egg has the lightest, brightest value in the painting, and then is surrounded by fabric that's been very convincingly rendered to create implied three-dimensional mass, and has a variety in light to dark and various different shades of gray. What's typically the easiest part of painting in a range of values like this would be the darkest darks and the lightest lights. But Devin went beyond that and rendered all of these different various, very subtle shades of gray to create a convincing landscape. The title was also a creative approach because although this appears to be an egg in fabric, it leads us to think of a narrative for this as a sort of being that truly is alone, surrounded by quite a bit of negative space. Congratulations, Devin. A first place award in drawing goes to Dandrick Miller for the multimedia drawing Tub Shark that was produced with charcoal and Sharpie fine tip. What I particularly enjoyed about this piece was the inclusion of several different views and perspectives on this tub shark, which I assume is something that was rendered from maybe a plastic shark that you might play with as a child in a bathtub. The charcoal rendering in the background looks very intimidating. It's coming at us in a foreshortened point of view, which is something that's very challenging to draw. There's a nice range of value depicted within the charcoal, a nice stark white on that front prow of the shark's face, and then some really dark blacks that push that composition back and allow other parts of it to come forward. Then there are these side views of the shark that further let us examine it, also with a contrast of these linear elements that look like bubbles that might represent bubbles in the water or bubbles in the tub with the tub shark. And I also enjoy the fact that these are split and makes the shark in the background appear as if it's coming towards us and about to separate these other parts of the shark body. I think this is a very creative approach to the subject. Congratulations, Dandrick.
The second place in drawing this year goes to Dannelle Charlie for her charcoal drawing that is titled From That Which Was Once a Home. So it's a very nice drawing. It has a full composition, a nice balance between light and shadows. There's also amazing textures that's being captured throughout the composition. So a big congratulations to Dannelle. Thank you so much for your entry.
The third place award in drawing goes to Dannelle Crandell for Woodpile, which is a charcoal composition. Like a lot of abstract pieces, I love that this both is and is not the title of the work. Certainly, this is a pile of logs, but I love the sort of crushed can quality of some of the logs on the pile. I love the use of shading. I love the flatness of the piece, even though if we saw this in person, it would be unwieldy and lopsided. And I love the attention to the grain and patterns of the logs themselves. This is an excellent example of seeing an everyday object with real clarity and attention.
First place award in 3D art goes to Kaylin Fusselman for Hope Chest, which is constructed out of cherry and walnut woods with a CNC carved olive tree symbol on the center top panel. This is a very cleanly produced, appearing to be incredibly well crafted piece of furniture. What I especially like about what Kaylin chose to do here was to use several geometric shapes, dividing these side panels into squares that are framed by a darker wood, and then continuing a geometric shape, but changing it so that it changes from a rectilinear shape to a hexagon on the top, and breaking up that geometry by including an image here, the CNC carved olive tree symbol that references the natural material of the wood and adds an element of nature and line drawing, and also creates some darkness and value that unifies the whole piece by referencing the darkly valued wood on the side panels. This is a really well thought out piece. Thank you and congratulations, Kaylin.
The second place in three-dimensional art goes to Stuart Holmes for his ceramic piece titled Race Completed, Resting Swimmer. So the pose and the proportional attribute makes this figurative ceramic sculpture stand out. For me, the strongest part of this wonderful sculpture was the emotional content, which was, I thought, shows very well through the portrait part of the sculpture. So a big congratulations to Stuart for his award.
The third place award in 3D art goes to Bruce Taylor for Diver, a ceramic sculpture with acrylic paint. What I love most about Diver is the particular color of blue on the diver's mask and fins, and the particular way that the mask fits the diver's face, which remind me of underwater television documentaries about the ocean from 50 years ago. That same sense of playfulness is everywhere in the sculpture. The expressive eyes on the diver's face, the inventive amalgamation of bodies and expressions. It's delightful.
The first place in photography this year goes to Jocelyn McCleve for her digital photo titled Chalk Dancer. So the positive and negative attributes in this painting is very well captured. The capture of implied time and implied motion most definitely makes this the best photo of this year's NPC student show. So congratulations to Jocelyn.
Second place in photography award goes to April Neal's black and white photograph titled Race the Vehicle. This is a photograph that involves a technique called panning, where the photographer actually has to capture motion by taking the camera and moving it with the subject. That's what's creating the motion blur in the background. The background is not moving, the camera is, but it's also allowing the subject to be captured and sort of freeze framed because the panning is stopping and capturing that camera at a specific moment of motion. It's a very challenging technique, and I appreciate the way that April has captured the subject framed by her background. There's a visual repetitiveness of some of the dark values in the girl in the foreground shorts and the black dark tinted windows on the vehicle behind her. The shirt is quite light, and that references the light vehicle behind her as well. So there's a lot of unity created here. That's repeated once again by the bright, what I assume is stark sunlight that's allowing a very dark shadow to be cast beneath her. There's a great sense of motion in this piece, and the subject is also captured in the rightmost third of the drawing, which is a great place for a focal point, also allowing her plenty of space conceptually to continue running, which we like to see as viewers. It really does create the illusion that she is racing that vehicle. Congratulations, April.
The third place award in photography goes to John Wilson for Southern Gem, a digital photograph of a broad-billed hummingbird. I'm always impressed by the patience and stillness of a photographer who can wait outside in nature for moments and creatures that otherwise pass in front of us in the blink of an eye. I spend a lot of time each day watching hummingbirds at hummingbird feeders outside my windows, but I never see them like this. And in particular, the idea of this small bird at rest, captured in all of its colorful glory, is a wonderful way to engage with something from the natural world in a way I'm not used to. And I really admire that about it.
Those were our top award winners within the show, but I'd also like to take a moment just to highlight some of the honorable mentions that the jury selected. An honorable mention in Painting Art Award goes to Cindy Shader for the acrylic on canvas painting titled Steve and Terry. Another honorable mention in Painting Art Award goes to Jerome Lewis for the watercolor titled Across the Street. An honorable mention in Photography Art Award goes to Sierra Despain for the digital photograph titled Sunset. An honorable mention in Photography Art Award goes to Mike Gaffney for a digital photograph titled Ground. An honorable mention in 3D Art Award goes to Vicki Bessinger for a ceramic sculpture with alpaca fiber titled Alpaca Man. An honorable mention in 3D Art Award goes to Anne Anspach for a ceramic sculptural bust titled Dreamy. An honorable mention in 3D Art Award goes to Suzanne Taylor for a ceramic sculpture titled Looking at Pretty Girls. An honorable mention in 3D Art Award goes to Kaylin Fusselman for a china cabinet created from quartered white oak, which is an original design including mortise and tenon joinery, CNC carved olive tree symbols. An honorable mention in 3D Art Award goes to the land art project by Laura Ellsworth titled Mountain Peaks as Far as the Eye Can See, constructed from sticks, juniper berries, and pine cones. An honorable mention in 3D Art Award goes to Jolie Celestua for the construction of an Apache wickiup made of beargrass, Chinese elm, and yucca. And now I'm going to take a moment to let Betsy Ann Wilson speak to you all about a very special art scholarship that we offer here at NPC.
Hello, I'm Betsy Ann Wilson, Executive Director of NPC Friends and Family. We're the nonprofit foundation that supports the students of Northland Pioneer College, primarily by raising and awarding scholarships. And I'd like to introduce you now to a very special scholarship. Louis Smith established the Marcia A. Smith Memorial Art Scholarship over a decade ago in memory of his late wife, who was a popular, talented adjunct art instructor here at NPC. Marcia was a gifted and award-winning ceramicist who also created beautiful works of art in stained glass, and Louis himself was an accomplished photographer. The scholarship provides $3,000 each year to a full-time NPC student who is both academically and artistically talented. Louis and Marcia both held a strong resolve that art is a vitally important part of any culture. So to that end, Louis' applicants need not be art majors, but art must be an integral part of their lives. Applicants are required to submit a digital collection of their works of 2D and 3D art, and these can include drawings, paintings, sculpture, textiles, ceramics, and the like. And they also must write an essay telling why art is significant to them and why they think art is important in society. Louis Smith passed away in this past December, but because the scholarship fund is an endowment, his legacy and his memorial to Marcia will live on in the lives of the students who continue to receive the scholarship, which is now known as the Marcia and Louis Smith Memorial Art Scholarship. Before she's introduced, I would like to share some words with you from this year's Smith Scholar who wrote in her essay, "As human emotions are often complex and difficult to separate from one another, it is just as difficult to feel any singular emotion when looking at a piece of art. I hope you keep this in mind as you enjoy this year's NPC Juried Art Show. And I hope you find something in this year's show that gives you pause or provokes a thought or stirs a memory or just makes you smile. I appreciate you for taking the time to join us in celebration of the talent of NPC's art students and to shine a spotlight on this year's winner of the Marcia and Louis Smith Memorial Art Scholarship. Thank you.
The winner of this year's Marcia and Louis Smith Memorial Art Scholarship is Rebecca Rosnabak. Congratulations, Rebecca. As Betsy Ann mentioned, Rebecca's application was evaluated not just for her essay speaking about why art is important in society, but also a portfolio of artwork that Rebecca submitted, of which I'm showing you two pieces right now, and you can see all three of them on display in our virtual NPC Student Art Show exhibition. I thought these two pieces really illustrated the dynamic range of Rebecca's abilities with two-dimensional art. Marin Foal being a piece that's worked just in graphite pencil and showcasing her ability to create value change that's really subtle, that allows us to see these animals that are modeled in a very convincing way, making us think of three-dimensional figures. And then also on the other hand, we see that Rebecca's really skilled with handling color media as well in her graphite pencil and watercolor pencil drawing of Carnotaurus, where we can see value change being modeled here also, but a real unity created within these subtle color shifts, nothing looking out of place and all seeming to be a realistic concept for how this creature might have appeared in actual life. Once again, congratulations, Rebecca. We're looking forward to having you in studio art classes again next fall. In addition to all of the awards selected by the jurors, we always like to host an award where you get to be the juror in effect and cast your vote for the artwork that you think is most successful in the NPC student show. This is called the People's Choice Award. If you're watching this before May 12th, 2021, please cast your vote by emailing me at the email address below and including both the name of the artist and the title of the artwork. Every vote counts. Thank you all for spending time with us today, and congratulations again to all of the award winners and all of the students who are included in the NPC Student Art Show. I hope we see you again in art classes in the upcoming academic year. If any of you have questions about studio art classes or you're interested in learning more about art scholarships, please feel free to email me at magda.gushek@npc.edu. Have a great summer.